Sandwiches are basically God's greatest gift to mankind. I mean, the best things I've ever eaten are usually stuck between two buns. And it's for a good reason. Sandwiches are just super easy to make and enjoy. They have an aerodynamic and ergonomic design that makes them really easy to just grab and go. So it makes sense that we'd see them in video games from time to time. I mean, if I were Link, I would definitely stop at Jersey Mike's before I go fight Ganondorf. So that got me thinking, what games have sandwiches, and which games have the best sandwiches to begin with? As easy as it is to make a sandwich, there's a huge difficulty spike for really good sandwiches. No two sandwiches are created equal. There's just so many things to consider. The mayo to bread ratio, the mustard type, the meat selection, the veggies used, if it has toasted buns, I mean, what kind of cheese are you gonna use? Are you even gonna have cheese? What if it's a peanut butter jelly sandwich? What if you do it on rye bread? You get the idea. So I spent much longer than I'd like to admit looking for sandwiches, and I found a pretty good amount of them, and I decided to rank them in one of three categories. The first of the three being wouldn't eat, which means they're just not that appetizing, or they simply just got beat out by the sandwiches in the next category. Yeah, I'd eat that. This category is reserved for your everyday, kind of average sandwich. You know, something you'd look at and go, yep, that's a sandwich. It's equivalent to standing around and doing nothing in PE and getting a passing grade. And finally, sandwiches I would devour. These are sandwiches that if you left them in my vicinity for more than 5 minutes, you would never see it again. I'm talking toe curling, mouth watering, just delicious. Of course, since binging with Babish hasn't made every single sandwich on this list yet, I decided to do something a little bit different for grading here. Yes, we're going to be talking about the ingredients used, but I also want to cover things like origin and context given from the games they're from, if it's grounded in some reality, you know, is it actually something you can make? And it has to look beautiful. I'm talking poly count here. The higher the poly count, the tastier it has to be. Multiple entries per series is allowed, but no burgers! We're not doing burgers. So Roblox has a couple of sandwiches, but I went with one of the classics, which is the space sandwich. It's been there since the beginning, and wow, no thank you. Even if it was like calamari and like, I don't know, eyeballs, I guess? I honestly don't know. I don't think I would eat that. Like, not even the bread looks appetizing. It has like this weird, like, purplish hue, like a green purple hue to it, and it just looks really off-putting. I would have to pass on the Roblox space sandwich. Kirby Clash has a sandwich in it. It's just so confusing. The bread has the crust cut off, and there's like this weird unidentifiable substance in it. And it looks like meatballs, but it has like these green splotches in it. Then you got a layer of lettuce separating it. And then you got what looks like eggs or like egg salad or something. You're biting into like what's gonna be a soggy piece of bread. And you're gonna get a mouthful of meatball, marinara sauce, some garnish, some lettuce, and egg. That just doesn't sound appetizing. This is the sub-sandipede from Bug Snacks, and honestly, I would eat this, but it would be really hard to. I mean, I don't know if I could. I don't know. Seriously, I can't eat this. It's live. It's a living, breathing thing. I don't know if I could eat this, but then you get into the morals of eating a bug snack, and it just, I don't know. Is there a way to put it down? Do they just eat the Bug Snacks whole? I honestly forget. I haven't played Bug Snacks in so long. I'm too conflicted. I don't know. It probably would taste really good, but I just can't put myself in that situation. I can't bring myself to eat a live bug snack, especially when it looks that sad, dude. I just can't. I can't eat it. Take a look at this sandwich. It looks fine, right? It looks edible. Like, why wouldn't this be in like a higher up tier, right? Well, it's supposed to be a grilled cheese sandwich. Now, I don't know about you, but I like my grilled cheeses with actual melted cheese, not these blocks of cheese that they left in there. It would probably be in the would eat tier if the cheese was melted. Like, for example, the Ratchet and Clank sandwich from earlier. It just had a block of cheese, but that's fine. It's not really parading itself as a grilled cheese or like a panini or something. It's just a sandwich. I had to kind of bring it down to the not eat tier, because would you eat a grilled cheese with cold cheese like that? So, Sonic has a couple of sandwiches, some good, some bad. This sandwich is really good looking. It's a long ass sandwich. This dude's deep throating it like there's no tomorrow. It's got like some fried chicken, like chicken katsu something in it. But pay attention to what happens in this clip. Hey! He just straight nails Sonic with it, and it doesn't move. It doesn't flinch. Like, it's not like a flimsy sandwich. It's like hard. It's like solid. Nothing falls out of it. Like, it's like a huge like metal pipe or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's all stale. Maybe the bread's like a week old. This dude's throwing it down like there's no tomorrow, yes, but look at him. Like, let's be real, look at him. He's built for that sandwich. I just can't eat that. Like, that would probably destroy me. Like, I would probably
Hey, how's it going? I've actually got something for you. This is the bread that you asked me to get, and you can now go make me a sandwich.
You might be wondering why Minecraft's on this list, because there's not really like a sandwich, but I did want to include the Yakuza bread because, wow, the Yakuza bread is really well made and animated. I felt like if I added the Yakuza bread, I kind of had to add the Minecraft bread, so 2 birds, 1 stone. This is the Ratchet and Clank sandwich from Rifts Apart. Look, I'm looking at it right here. Man, does it look delicious. I mean, it's got everything you need. You got your lettuce, you got your tomatoes, you got your cheese, you got your ham or turkey or whatever that is. And this is a very high poly model, so this is a good sandwich. It just looks off to me. It doesn't really look like real cheese, and it doesn't look like it's like thought out entirely. While this does look like a gold standard for a sandwich, because it almost is, that cheese is just enough to keep it in the yeah, I'd eat it tier. Here's a curveball for you. The sandwich stage in Kirby's Dream Buffet. Hear me out here, guys. I know Kirby's been rolling around in this, but just look how good it looks. There's a lot of good sandwiches on here. I mean, granted, some of them are being used as ramps or like stages, whatever. They just look really good. I just don't know how dirty they'd be. Is it before they roll on it? Is it after? I don't know. But I mean, hey, it looks good. I would definitely eat that stage. So Starfield is a very controversial game. You know, there's a lot of opinions on it, but one thing a lot of people can agree on is that the sandwiches are pretty high quality. No, they're not 70,000 polys, that's a lie, but they are very beautiful and very pretty. I mean, it's a very standard basic sandwich, that's why it's here. There's just like 50 billion of them in surplus. I definitely eat them, but storage is an issue, and there's just a bunch of other issues that I could think of, you know, storage being one. This is the Deathloop Ray Trace sandwich. If you look really closely at the mayonnaise, it's actually ray trace. Like, there's actually lighting coming off it. It's really cool. It looks really good. I mean, it's on some pretty gourmet bread. And I mean, it does have a lot of like that fancy mayo, mustard, whatever. But I just don't know what meat's inside of it. It looks like 2 beef patties. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with 2 beef patties, but it's also like, it's just lacking something. It needs a little more. And there's not that little more to get it any higher than the would eat tier. So the first sandwich we're gonna cover is one from Meatopia. It's just a regular sandwich, and honestly, it looks really good. Like, I mean, it's got everything you need in a sandwich. You got your meat, your cheese, your veggies. It's a pretty solid sandwich. It's on toasted bread. But the reason I have it in this tier is because some of the texturing just looks off. If you look at the back of the ham, it just looks like there's like an amalgamation of like half cheese, half lettuce on it. So I can't really say I would devour it because I just can't. But it looks really good. So at the very least, it's in this tier. This is the Ham-Loni sandwich from Calling All Mixels. It's like a mobile game. It's like a Lego game thing. It's super basic, alright? It's literally just a piece of ham-loni in between 2 pieces of bread. You know what? I would try it. I would try this thing. It looks pretty good. I can't put it in would devour because I don't know how ham and bologna mixed together would taste. But you gotta remember there's like no other like condiments or anything on this. I can't. It's ham-loni. Who knows what ham-loni is? I don't know what ham-loni is, but I'm willing to try it. Would you try ham-loni? Because I would. Would you? Tales of Arise has a sandwich, and it looks really good. I don't really know the name of it. As far as I know, it's literally just sandwich. But man, does that look good. I just can't really put it any higher because it's PNG. But out of all the PNG sandwiches, this is probably the best one. And rounding out the I'd eat it tier, the Monte Cristo from The Sims 4. This sandwich is just wow. See, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about just like context. I think it really is just the minigame and watching them cook it, because most games you don't really see them making it, but I do think that the presentation at the end is kind of lacking, and I feel like it kind of just doesn't live up to that next level. It's right there, especially with the couple few, it's like right there. But this sandwich just is missing something, and I don't know what that something is. But this is definitely a would eat sandwich, borderlining on that would devour line. A game that nobody really thinks about when you think about good looking food is Mario Party. Recently with the Switch games, they've really upped the ante on how good the food looks. The sandwiches kinda look better. Like, for example, there's like a veggie sandwich and it's like lettuce, then avocado or something like that, and it just doesn't look that appetizing. You're gonna end up biting into just lettuce, avocado, and bread. But I mean, I'd eat it. It looks good. It's just the way it's layered isn't that good. So for that reason, it's just kind of in the middle tiers. Here's a sandwich I don't think any of you know about. Disney Friends. It's a DS game, an obscure one at that. It's like, imagine Pooh, but like with Disney characters. And in this game lies a peanut butter jelly sandwich. It looks really good. I mean, is it the best? No, I've seen better. And I mean, it's a main staple in the game too. It's one of the easiest items to give to the characters. It's just amazing. It looks really good. Like, even for how low poly it is, it looks so dang good. There were a lot of games that had those like blink it and you'll miss it food items. Rayman Raving Rabbids had a sandwich in it for a split second. It's on screen for less than a couple seconds in the minigame, where you have to like draw like a square or something, and then like a sandwich pops on the table and dude just devours it. That has to be a really good sandwich. Like, it looks super good, but there's not enough for me to like fully analyze it. I will argue that a sandwich with an egg on top of it is really good. And breakfast sandwiches are some of the greatest sandwiches to exist. So the Pokemon Scarlet Violet sandwiches are all over the place. There's so many sandwiches here, it's kind of hard to rank them all. You're supposed to share them with all 6 of your Pokemon, so this is like a sandwich for 7 people. That's not a would devour, that's like a would eat and then sit in the fridge for a couple days. I think they're really interesting. I also think it's cool how like you drop it on there to make it. But remember, it's like a 10-year-old kid making it too, so... These are the top sandwiches. These are just some of the best, hands down. Like, if I ever saw these in real life, they're gone. Just amazing. The first one I want to bring attention to is the Skylanders peanut butter and jelly. It's basic, it's simple, it's a peanut butter jelly. It just, ooh, it looks so good. I mean, what else is there to say about it? Gooey jelly, delicious peanut butter. What else do you need? It's probably the best peanut butter jelly in gaming, hands down. Next up, we got the Cooking Mama sandwich. There were a lot of sandwiches to consider, but this one in particular just did it all for me. It was a 3D model, I could spin it around, it looks so good. I just couldn't resist putting it on the list. Now, Cooking Mama I have a soft spot for. It's a really delicious, delectable game. I remember a mini game in particular on my DS. It was like a cup of noodles game. You had to fill it up, and I took so long to get 3 stars on it. And it was just a timing mini game, but it just speaks to the craft that Cooking Mama has. So when you get that 3-star happy Cooking Mama sandwich, you know it's gonna be bomb. Now here's a shocker. Genshin Impact. They have a lot of good looking food in the game, but when I saw this, I just something about it. If there's one thing I love more than anything, it's breakfast sandwiches. So when I see this breakfast sandwich, I just can't help myself. It just looks so good. A perfect egg. Look at that. The meat, oh my god. It's a perfect breakfast sandwich. It's probably one of the best things about Genshin, and this is probably one of the only times you'll ever see me rank Genshin this high. Now we're getting into some of my personal favorites, and this is without a doubt the greatest PNG sandwich of all time. Papa's Cheeseria. You and I both know the amount of skill it takes to get a perfect score in any of those games. You basically have to be perfect the whole time. So this has to rank high for that reason alone. I mean, it's iconic. Everybody's played a Papa's game before. Like, bro, Papa's games are so good. They literally made jobs based around them. You ever walk into a Subway? You ever walk into a Jimmy John's or whatever Link walked into earlier? That's what they're doing all day. They're just making sandwiches. It's perfect. Here's one that I know a lot of people are going to expect on a list like this, and it is the sandwich from TF2. This is a classic. It's iconic. It's probably one of the most well-known sandwiches across gaming. When you think sandwiches, this is usually the first one you think of when you think of gaming. It's perfect. I mean, it even has a garnish. Like, what more do you want from a sandwich? It's pure sandwich goodness. The second to last sandwich on this list, it's called bear with me here, the Chocobo Deluxe something. Listen to this. We got olives, sliced avocado, a quarter pound of ham, quarter pound of turkey, salami, lettuce, cheddar, prosciutto, Japanese mayo, 15 shrimp, and like a ton of seasoning. I can't with this sandwich. Really good. It sounds really good. What else do you need? It's a Scooby-Doo sandwich. I mean, look at that thing. Ladies and gentlemen, look to your left, and then look to your right, and then look at me. This sandwich is infamous for 2 reasons. 1, because it looks really good, and 2, because whenever it spawns or it loads on screen, it actually lags some machines. Like, it's insane to think about that this sandwich is so high quality that it like lags games. It is the ultimate sandwich. This man devoured a sandwich on camera, mid-monologue, mid-cutscene, in like 4 bites. It took him less than 20 seconds to eat this thing. I can't think of a perfect sandwich. But until then, those are just some of the greatest sandwiches in gaming, just entirely. I don't really have anything else to say. Go watch this video. Make a sandwich before you do. It'll be a good time, I promise. Bye bye. Eggman's sandwich.